What's going on, everyone? Mark here at Youngtimer's Garage. I took out the Porsche a couple days ago on July 4th, and it took a crap on me. Stopped in the middle of the road. The clutch was not working. I wasn't able to engage it. I pressed the pedal down and nothing was happening. It wasn't popping back. So me and my wife pushed the car back to my brother's, and that is where it is at right now. And I was able to find the part for it. I got it in less than actually it was in a day. I just picked it up and now I'm going to be installing it. I'll show you guys what I did underneath the car and how I'm going to be putting it back together. But thankfully nothing else happened. Hopefully this is the only thing. I'm replacing the slave cylinder and I'm replacing the hydraulic line. I think what happened was when somebody converted this car to a GT2 slave cylinder, they didn't remove all of the Pentosin, and that ate away at the rubber seal, and it just blew out and the whole thing fell apart. So I'll go ahead and clean those lines out before I put everything back together. Fucking Jeep. So I'll go ahead and clean the lines out with isopropyl alcohol, and then I'll put in the fluid, put in the new slave cylinder, and hopefully once I bleed it, we'll be able to drive the car again. So let me show you what I'm working with. So here's a heap of mess and parts. I'll show you guys the old part. So it failed internally. This is the hose. Kind of shot out, all came apart. There's a spring. There is, I'll just show you guys how this actually works, just for reference, in case you were wondering. Here's a little piston in there, and spring goes in there. Then you got your piston, I believe it goes this way. Then you got the rubber boot. So it all sits like this, and then I could see actually got snagged here. Looks like it got snagged somehow. Maybe caused it to like drop. I'm not sure, but we'll see if that's our problem or if we're having a clutch problem, and that's a bigger issue. But this is garbage. This is out. But of course I got the new part, and it does not have the threaded part for the adapter that I have, because I have an Evolution Motorsports GT2 adapter, which is a lot nicer and easier. So when you sit this in there, you only fasten these two bolts, and the slave cylinder sits in the bracket like so, and it bolts up from the back like this. The other ear fits in there. So I'm going to go ahead and continue threading this. So I can't fit the actual tool on top because of this, obviously. I have the threads, and it needs to have them like this one, which most likely was also threaded. And that will allow us to fasten it to that bracket. Now we'll give it a couple of turns, and then we'll go back, clean out the threads, the shavings, and the threads. Now we're going to put this here. There we go. There you have it, folks. Alright, we got our isopropyl alcohol. I'm gonna pour it in here. Got the alcohol in here, being sucked out by the reservoir here. And now I'm just gonna pour brake fluid in there. So, got the line hooked up here to the main line, and the reservoir, or the slave sits on top, so I'll have to put that back. But let's go ahead and put in some brake fluid. A little bit more. Alright, so we have the connection connected, slave, and now we'll bleed it. So let's go ahead and add the fluid and bleed it. And then it's got to go back up there. Yeah. Did you close it? Yeah. Something's in the way. Yeah. Fuck. Alright, everything is back together. Let's see if this thing fits in here. Not really, but it's up there. So it is day 2, and I'm going to go work on my Porsche. Didn't finish working on it yesterday. I did have an issue with the slave cylinder when I put everything back together and went to try the clutch. It was returning this time around, but it wasn't going low enough to the floor in order for me to be able to start the car. So there's some sort of issue, and I was reading up online about the conversion kit I have, which is an Evolution Motorsports conversion, and the rod that sits inside the slave cylinder, it has to be a different length. So I'm gonna swap the rods out from my old slave and put it into this new one, and that hopefully will solve the problem. If not, we might have a bigger problem, but fingers crossed. So the issue was not resolved. I had to take the car into a shop. As you can see here, there was a issue with the actual rod pushing in on the fork, and there was some resistance. So that has been since fixed. Here's a video of the actual slave cylinder setup, and car's back now, and I replaced all the internals, so it's good to go. A piece of the slave rod was found in the actual bell housing that was preventing the clutch from being engaged. So that wraps it up for today's video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.